actually, because all the ones that my mom shoved down my throat are all really bitter. Chinese medicine definitely doesn't win the tasting contest, but that's not what I'm here to talk about today. Rather, I'll be showing you just how much more effective Chinese medicine is compared to their Western counterparts for moderate medical conditions. The problem with Western medical procedures is that they focus mainly on easing symptoms, whereas Chinese medicine focuses directly on the problem. So if we were all to use Chinese medicine for our moderate medical conditions, we could all recover a lot faster. And I was able to experience this firsthand 4 years ago when I sprained my ankle playing hockey. And at that time, I had no idea how serious the injury was, so I just walked 2 miles home as usual, and then I realized the next day that I couldn't even move a muscle without feeling pain shot at my right ankle. Instead of bringing me to a doctor, my mom called up a family friend who is very well versed in Chinese medicine, and he brought over this, which is red flower oil, which he applied to my sprain by rubbing it in carefully into the area. And according to research by the Kai Cook Medical Company, red flower oil is able to ease up tissue so you can improve blood circulation and reduce the swelling. It also has a very distinctive smell if you haven't smelled it already, so go ahead and pass it around. And then during the day, he gave me these cooling patches, which has the same formula, so I can wear it during the day without having to reapply red flower all the time. Thus, I didn't use the traditional rice method of rest, ice, compression, elevate, but I also was never in a cast, and I didn't have to use crutches. Now, has anyone used the rice method for their sprained ankle or something? How long did it take for you guys to heal? About a couple weeks. Yeah, according to chiropractor Dr. McNally, for a typical mildly sprained ankle, or partially torn ligaments like the one I had, it takes about 4 to 6 weeks. But you know how long it took for me to fully heal? Just 1.5 weeks. And I was able to go to school actually the next day just with a little limp. Now this wasn't some one-shot wonder either, because the following year I again sprained the same ankle, and I did the same procedure, and again healed in 1.5 weeks. So let's go ahead and take a look at what are some other popular Western medicine and how they stack up against Chinese medicine. So staying on the topic of sprains, the most common procedure is cast and crutches, and the idea behind it is to immobilize the area so that you don't further injure it. But the problem with that is that it doesn't actually speed up recovery, and since that your limb is not in use for a period of time, the muscles in that area will become weak. Whereas Chinese acupuncture, it stimulates nervous receptors to quicken recovery, and then since you're not in a constraining cast, your muscles are able to retain their strength. Again, for mild sprains, the average healing time is 4 to 6 weeks, but for acupuncture for the same injury, it can be healed in 1 week. And that's even faster than using the red flower oil. Now let's compare the costs. So if you are uninsured, according to newchoicehealth.com, the non-surgical treatment diagnosis is about $500, crutches are about $15 to $45, and a single doctor's visit can cost $500, bringing that to a total of about $1,033 just for a mild sprain. Now what about for acupuncture? Again, if uninsured, according to the article Health Insurance for Acupuncture, the initial visit will run you about $75 to $95, and then each follow-up visit is $50 to $70. And for a mild sprain, you only need about 4 follow-up visits, which makes it a total of $325, significantly less than its Western counterparts. Now, I know a lot of people steer away from acupuncture because they probably think of the steam from Kung Fu Panda. Well, acupuncture actually isn't exactly like that. For most medical conditions, you really don't need that many needles. And they also don't hurt as much as you think. They only have like a little tingling sensation that not everybody can actually feel it. And they're not inserted very deep either, just about 1/4 of an inch. You can read personal testimonies at peopletreewellness.com. And as long as you go to a certified acupuncturist, you have nothing to worry, since they go through an intense amount of training to get their license. And according to the article requirements to become a certified acupuncture, they need to go to a certified school, have over 1,000 hours of training, pass certification exams, and even in some states like Texas, they even need to have to continue their education just to keep their license. So rest assured that Kung Fu Perryman is not going to be the one operating on you. Now, what about if you catch a cold? I know a lot of people are getting sick this year, and they're probably taking cold medicine like NyQuil, which only temporarily relieves the symptoms until you have to take it again a few hours later. Well, Although you cannot cure a virus, you can boost your immune system to combat it better with Chinese medicine. And according to the American Physiology Journal of Physiology, if you take miso soup with ginger, that also is able to help relieve some body aches. And then for fevers, you can take the lemon syrup for Cynthia's constipation tablets, which boost your antioxidant production by causing your body to produce more white blood cells. But one of the best ways to prevent getting sick is to take daily vitamins. And by far one of the most popular here in America is gummy bites. And they're very appealing because they taste just like candy. And that's also their downfall because according to an article from World Now, they're one of the leading causes of cavities in children, teens, and young adults. And since they taste so good, a lot of people take more than the limit of 2 per day, which also, I know some of you have, leads to an overdose issue as well. And according to an article from livingstrong.com, they're also not completely nutritionally complete either. On the flip side, there's Chinese medicine, the terrapin capsules, which as you can see is a lot more nutritionally complete, and they even have energizing properties. And since they don't taste as good, they don't have a overdose problem. So as that has shown you, Chinese medicine is very effective. Although the methods may not be completely pain-free, but enduring that little bit of pain can get you so much more. I would like to encourage all of you to at least try one of the items that I mentioned in this presentation, whether it be some the terrapin tablets for your daily vitamin, or some miso soup when you get the sniffles. And the next time you sprain your ankle, and though I hope you don't, but if you do, save yourself some money and recovery time by seeing an acupuncturist. Or if you're still afraid of needles or want an even cheaper option, you can use the rice method, red flower oil, initiate pressure, clean patch, and exhale it. And you can get everything that I mentioned in this presentation at the Madison supermarket located in Rockville, Maryland, not too far.